When the balloon finally pops, ask yourself, what country do you really think will come to the rescue of the United States of America? You should be preparing now more than ever. Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Happy Tuesday to all of you. I hope that you all had a very safe 4th of July and that you had a good time with your family celebrating our nation's independence yesterday. Not once do the people that are in charge, do the politicians, blame themselves for the crisis that not only is Germany enduring, but also most European nations, in addition to the United States of America as well. Unless you just have been living a normalcy biased life until now, or until you decide to finally wake up, is that all of these nations, including the United States, it's not under the control of we the people. It is not under the control of the representatives that have been elected to represent we the people. It's under the control of other people that don't care what happens to we the people. So if we don't wake up to this fact now, when will we wake up to it? When we can no longer take a 5-minute shower? And then what? A 2-minute shower? And then what after that? Everything is blamed on whatever manufactured crisis is going on at the moment. And just look back. Use your heads, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you know, I had a very bad day yesterday. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but I had a very bad day. But I found out yesterday that one of my very best friends in the world passed away. And he's a good man. In 1st grade, he taught me how to tie my shoes. And these are the things you think about when you find out about the loss of a loved one. And these things get you to thinking, ladies and gentlemen. They get you to thinking, what is life about? You know, and just the simple things of life that we can provide for ourselves, that we ourselves can go out there and work for. They are stripped from us by a ruling class of people that could care less about you. They care more about a spotted frog or a fish swimming in a river than they care about human life. And I would say that they don't even care about those things either. That they just care about controlling as much as they can control. For your safety, of course. When are we going to wake up? That we, ladies and gentlemen, we are the enemy. We are the enemy of these people that are in power. They don't care about you. Wake up and smell the coffee. I mean, here for Hamburg, Germany, they may not even be able to get hot water to make their coffee. When are we going to wake up? And now I see this ridiculous article here that's blaming this war that's going on, when it is we, the Western world. Yes, it is we, the Western world. I am not a sympathizer of anyone, so keep that crap to yourself. Oh, you're a Russia sympathizer. Man, wake up. It is the politicians of the Western worlds. It is the handlers of these politicians of the Western world, the Western nations. It is their handlers, the ones that want to control the world, that want to control every single thing that you do. It is they that have created this. And it is they who do not have to live with the consequences of their creation. It is we, ladies and gentlemen. So wake up. I have a couple of other articles that I really want to go over with you today, and I'll go ahead and put that up on a second video. But in hopes as to not keep this video too long, let me go ahead and continue. And I don't ask this very often, but if you do pray, please pray for my good friend's family. I won't divulge his full name because I want to respect his family right now in this time. And he is my brother. And so pray for Hector and his family. He had a beautiful little girl and what I would call a wife. They weren't technically married, but they've been together forever. So pray for them because, man, I'll tell you what, tough stuff, tough stuff. They go on to say here that the second largest city in Germany is mulling over the potential rationing of hot water as the energy crisis worsens. Remember, ask yourselves, what energy crisis and what caused this energy crisis? You know, you all know I don't really get political here because I hate politicians of every kind. I think there's maybe a handful, at least here in the United States, that are patriots, maybe a handful. The rest are no good. But I was looking over some of I saw a video yesterday of the predictions that were made of this administration before this administration took over. One of those predictions was that the stock market was going to start to do terrible. Check. Another one was that energy was going to be cut off, that they were going to start walking back our energy sector and allowing us to produce less energy instead of being energy independent. Check. One of the other predictions was that they were going to take us to war. Now, you may say we're not in a hot war right now, but we're definitely fighting a proxy war. Another thing they were going to say is that they were going to increase our taxes. Check. Yes, our taxes have been increased. Have you seen inflation lately? Inflation is a tax. It is a tax because inflation is the expansion of the monetary supply, therefore making the dollars that you have already earned valued at less, worth less. So it is a tax. It's just an indirect tax. That they were going to start shutting down pipelines. Check. We are under attack. It doesn't matter what political party you're coming here from. It doesn't matter who is your God. It doesn't matter who you love. What matters is that you're not part of the ruling class. And they've had this plan for a long time. And they will try their best to get this plan all the way through, no matter how much it hurts you. In an acute gas shortage, warm water could only be made available at certain times of the day in an emergency. Can you say third world country, ladies and gentlemen? What have I been talking about for a while now? That the Western nations are going to be turned into third world countries, and what are the Eastern nations now that are kind of like developing nations. They may not be third world countries altogether. Some of them are, some of them aren't. But that the developing nations and what is now considered the third world countries or the Eastern nations, they're going to be the superpowers. That is where we're being led to. And that's why I've often said that you have to learn how to live on about 25% of what you live now, because our standard of living is going to drop by about 75%. That's what their goal is to drop our standard of living, not across the world, but so that the entire world, so that all the countries in the world can have an equal standard of living, which means that we here in the U.S. and other Western nations, our standard of living has to drop by 75%. That's their plan. And they continue to say here, we are in a much worse crisis than most people realize. The more we save now, the better the situation will be in winter because the storage tanks fill up, he added, referring to the need to save power so more natural gas can be stored up before this winter. Haven't I been talking about make sure that you get your fuels for this winter ready and stocked up as soon as possible for a couple of reasons. One, because I believe they're going to continue to get more expensive as time goes on. Everyone's talking about this great reprieve that we've had in gasoline prices. What? Gasoline prices have gone down 20, 30 cents a gallon, if that. That's a reprieve from gasoline prices. Wow, they've gone down 10% in price, in recent price. But they're still up 150% from this time last year. It's what I've told you in the past, ladies and gentlemen. That is how they play their game. They shoot the prices something up really high to where it's a lot higher than what it used to be. Let's take lumber, for example, right? Lumber, remember it went up to like $1,700 or $1,600 a 100 board feet, something like that, which is I think 12 inches by like 100 feet, something like that, right? It went up from like the average of about $350 all the way up to like $1,600-1,700. We all remember this. And then it just skyrocketed down. It dropped like a rock at about what? What is it now? About 600, 650? Even if it's at 500, it's still at what, 50, 70% more than what it used to be normally. So it's found a new bottom, but the new bottom that it found is about 100, 150% or 50% more than what it used to be. I'll see if I can look up a chart so I can show you what I'm talking about. And here, the German Vice Chancellor and Economy Minister, Robert Habeck, he says German citizens to shower less to overcome the worst energy crisis in a generation. Ladies and gentlemen, ask yourselves, is that person going to be showering less? The German government's increasing talk about reducing shower time and conserving hot water comes as Russia reduces Nord Stream's gas flows by 60%. It's Russia's fault. Let me ask you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you owned a shop, whatever shop you want it to be, and you said, this is how much I'm charging for this product, and I need you to pay me in this. And someone said, well, I'm not going to pay you in dollars because I want to pay you in marks, whatever it is. I don't know, pick a currency, right? And you would be like, no, I only take dollars for this. Whose fault is it if they don't get the product that you're offering? Whose is it? I mean, this gas belongs to Russia. Germany was warned by the last administration, don't be too dependent on Russian gas. And now what's happening? So because of the decisions that these politicians in Germany made in order to toe the line, now their people are paying the price. This chancellor here is going to take showers. This chancellor here, this coming winter, will have warm in his or her home. They will be warm. Their children will be warm. They don't care how much it's going to cost because you are paying for it, ladies and gentlemen. It is you that are paying for it, not them. Germany is heavily reliant on cheap Russian natural gas, and fears mount that Europe's largest economy could face even more natural gas cuts this summer. Weeks ago, Germany triggered the alarm stage of its natural gas emergency plan to address shortages. Such a collapse would have massive consequences for the entire economy and jobs in Germany. Germany's worsening energy crisis shows no sign of abating, and it seems probable that Hamburg residents could be showering in cold water. And we as well, ladies and gentlemen, right? We as well. Let me just give you one last little tidbit before I close this video off. Our natural gas prices, they were skyrocketing. I think they were almost $11, right? I think it was $10 and change, and then they came down quickly. I think now they're around $7 or something like that. They just came down really quickly, and people were like, oh, you see, that's great. But the reason for this is, ladies and gentlemen, is if you remember, there is a natural gas, a liquid natural gas export facility in Texas. Remember, and they had a fire that took them offline, I think, through the rest of this year. We were exporting so much natural gas, right, liquid natural gas, that our prices skyrocketed, right? And then once that plant caught on fire and they couldn't export any natural gas from that plant anymore, our prices came down because now we have that natural gas that we were exporting here in the United States. So that there is proof enough to know that our government is allowing the natural gas to leave our borders at our expense, leaving us to pay the expensive prices even though we have the product. Why? Because they are the ones that convinced, I don't know if they convinced or pressured or whatever, or it was either they or their handlers, I would stick by their handlers, that convinced Germany to put all of these sanctions that they've been putting all over the place. You cannot run a country on sanctions. Eventually, the other countries around the world are going to get tired of it, and you are going to be left behind. When the balloon finally pops, ask yourself, what country do you really think will come to the rescue of the United States of America? Ask yourself that. And if that, just that alone, doesn't make you want to prepare even more, then you will be lost. Then you will suffer. Your family will suffer. You should be preparing now more than ever. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you're all safe. I hope that you had a good day yesterday as well. And I'll probably put up another short video today. We'll see what happens. Other than that, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I may seem bitter, but I'm not bitter. I am hopeful. I am hopeful. And although I am mourning right now, my good friend's death, my brother's death, this is the way that I mourn. I keep doing what it is that I have to do because I love my country and I love you guys. And I want us to be prepared and informed. Information is so important. We need to be informed as to what's going on, the real stuff of what's going on. You have to remember that nobody is coming to your rescue. God bless you all.